This meeting is being recorded.
And those, you got
That's right. Yeah. Okay, in the absence of Mayor Vandermeide, I will call the meeting to order.
Where's the gavel?
And because City Clerk Hemmer is online because he's not feeling well, I will assume some of his duties during the meeting. So we'll start off with roll call. Alderman Bruckner. Here. Cruz. Here. Mahaffey.
Here.
Schlegel.
Here.
Terrell.
Yes.
Tickler.
Here.
West. Here. Zeidema.
Here.
Please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would like to entertain a motion to appoint the Mayor Pro Tem, Alderman Kevin Bruckner.
Second.
Moved by, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Alderman Cruz. Second by Sedana Mahaffey. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Mayor Pro Tem, please take over.
All right, anybody for public comment?
Not please. Yeah.
All right, seeing none, report of city officers, department heads, commissions, boards, and or committees.
Before I briefly touch on my report, I'd like to introduce, as you all know, Liz Buckholder with Morrison Area Development Commission Corporation, and she just wanted to come and visit us tonight and say a few words. Liz, just hold it out for a second until that green. There you go.
All right, good evening. Liz Buckholder from Morrison Area Development Corporation. Just gonna give you a brief report. Wanted to let you know that we have installed a new executive team. So Betty Steinert is actually our president. She does that from afar. She obviously winters in Florida, so that's kind of an interesting president. She's retired from the county. There's some knowledge there. Bob Smith is our vice president. Nick Volkman is our treasurer.
One more time, please. One more time.
Bob Smith is our vice president. And then Nick Volkman is our treasurer.
Must be turned down. There.
Sorry, I'm like,
Yeah.
It lights up, but it doesn't work.
for those of us in the back of the room that can't hear. Better.
That was good.
Thank you.
All right, I'll go ahead and start over. How about that? We have a new executive team, so that's Betty Steinert is our president. Bob Smith is our vice president. Nick Volkman is our treasurer, and then we kept Lynn Kennedy. She's been our secretary for a number of years, so she wanted to stay on. Previously, our president was Jerry Lindsay. He had some health issues to take care of, and he is back on our board. So he took a brief hiatus and is back. His first meeting was last meeting, so the January. We also have a few new board members, Barb Kophammer from in town, Nick Escobar from ComEd, and then we added Jerry. I believe you guys have some communications with Nick with ComEd as well. He's their external affairs manager for our region. A number of years ago, we had a ComEd representative, and so we have one back now. In the last few months, we've helped God's Will with their facade and building improvements. That work was finished sometime late last summer. We've also helped the briefing room on their interior and exterior project. Just this last meeting, we voted to start on a new website. Our website maybe was built in 2001. It's pretty old. In fact, we can't change anything on it, any of the themes. It's pretty old. So we have engaged with Grayson Harmon, who is a local contact, to help us do that. Our website is also on the city, so when that gets done, we'll be glad to share that with the city to make sure it all links together. We link with the chamber as well, so we'll make sure it all works and looks like Morrison. We don't want to be the outlier of that. The last meeting, we had a guest, Tim Zollinger, present to our group on TIF and the business development districts. We had a number of board members have questions on that, and so he came in for a brief, I think he had maybe 20 minutes, so it was very brief, and I know you guys got a more lengthy presentation a while ago. I think that's all the updates I have. I obviously will entertain any questions.
So when you say the God's Will and the briefing room to just help them out financially with developing their building, or?
Yeah, so we have 3 different projects. We have a grant program that we budget money for every year, and so that you don't have to pay back or anything like that. The Kennedys have used it before. Who else? It's a maximum $5,000. I can get you a list. It's just not in my brain. And then our facade program is a loan, and so that's repayable 3 years, so 36 payments. And that's obviously just for the fronts, backs of buildings, that kind of stuff. And then our last one is our revolving loan fund, which actually came from the city. Several years ago, the state of Illinois came to the cities and said, you can no longer be in the loan business, basically. And so you saw a number of communities all around Illinois have to figure out a place for that money and a steward of those dollars. And so we are the stewards of those dollars. So we have just 2 on that revolving loan program right now. We had a number of them be paid off in 2021, 2, and 3. They all dropped off. And that depends on the life of what they're actually, if it's real estate, it's like 5 to 10 years. If it's equipment, we've helped people buy equipment. And so that's like the life of the equipment, 5 to 7 years. It just depends on, we have a subcommittee of mainly bankers that help everybody figure that out. And that is actually gap financing. So that's when a bank tells them no, we can step in.
Okay.
So you have a $5,000 fund, a matching fund, is it? or just a payout?
It's a payout, so it, you know,
We also have one for the historical.
Cause we funded both of those projects too.
yes,
So
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
5,000 there and 5,000 there, and then we talked about raising that for the next year in the budget.
so,
Yeah,
so we-
yours is a grant,
right,
correct?
we were just
Ours
wondering,
is a loan,
cause we paid, that's why I'm asking, cause we paid half, right?
yeah.
And I mean, so did
Yeah.
you guys pay the other half, or did they pay the
So,
other half?
so that's my
'Cause my
question to
understanding
you,
was that they paid the
Melissa,
other half.
is I feel like when you look at things, it seems to be always the same people getting advantage of these programs. And so on your new website you're developing, will you have this information widely available to all the residents? Because currently, if you talk to man on the street, 99% of them probably don't know that any of this exists. It seems to be kept very close for whatever reason. And that just, you know, and do you cap the people, like you can only utilize this once every so many years? Because I just don't think it is a good look if the same people continuously, are enriched by, not enriched, but assisted with the grant programs
It's not that much
available.
money.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so, right now the loan documents are on our website. We've figured out how to do that. However, we work with the realtors, so anytime, I mean, I probably have calls with people twice, 3 times a month. Hey, this is my dream. And I just lay out what we have available, send them the application. We do ask, on the facade, program if they have any other funds. So if they came to you all and got half, we take that into account too. So we only can do up to a certain percent of what they have remaining. So we don't, it's not like they're double dipping.
I think they came to us after though.
Yeah.
And the city's program is for the historical district, both residential and downtown commercial only, where their facade or their grant program is for any business in town, in the city limits, correct? Liz,
Yeah.
correct?
And ours is 3%. I mean, some of the bankers sometimes with some of our loans are like, gosh, is it even worth it? Because the payment ends up being at the max, $135 a month. And for some people, yeah, it is. So that's a loan program. It's not a grant like you folks offer. So it is a little bit different, but
I think it's just, maybe this is what Sedana's saying, but I think, you know, as we're trying to help people, downtown's doing great. Like say for example, I mean, I don't like, so we both help those entities. Maybe we could have helped 4 entities if we would have had the
Right,
communication.
that's
and
exactly what I'm
That's what I'm saying too. It's like,
if
so
the
we.
information was more widely
if-
available
If
to.
we knew the other half came from MADC, then maybe we would have been like, okay, well then you got helped out with half. Let's help out some other people with half. You know what I mean? And so everybody, huh?
We didn't turn anybody down.
No, we didn't, but
And nobody came to us either. I think it's just,
But people came to us every, I mean,
it might be the same people coming to us because they're the ones buying buildings or renovating buildings and things like that.
Mhm.
Other people may not know about it because they're not in that business or they just don't know.
well, that's what I'm saying. Let's get that information out there because it is, as a resident of Morrison and as a business owner in Morrison, it is not easy to get information. I mean, you've gotta, and you almost have to know exactly what you're looking for. There's nobody
All they have
coming
to
out
do is
and
walk
saying,
into City
hey,
Hall and ask,
Yeah.
their programs for XYZ,
right,
and they'll tell them.
I, on a fairly regular basis, I get those kind of calls. And so I present to them what the city has to offer, what MADC has to offer, et cetera. You know, it's just, I keep hearing this, that the city needs to get more information out, and I think we do a reasonably good job at that. It's just, some people have to go looking for it too.
no, I understand that.
And when they do go look for it, one obvious spot is City Hall, and we do everything we can to provide all the information to them for all the different programs. So, and we realize not everybody knows about all the programs that are out there, but, you know, we work on that all the time.
Yeah, I just think this is good, this coordination.
Yes,
I mean, because maybe we combine forces for a bigger project for somebody that they desperately need.
right.
You know what I mean? So I think,
Or maybe
know.
we add a question to when they're asking for the grant, like, are you receiving MADC funds?
from another Morrison entity or something.
Right,
Yeah,
or another, correct.
yeah.
Maybe that's on our end, something we need to think about.
It seems to me there isn't that much there right now that
No.
we have to worry about these
We need to
things,
reform.
but maybe down the line, these ideas may have to guide
And a
us.
nice flow lately.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
know with our programs, we've talked about in the past, what if somebody comes back and, I think that's on our docket. We meet quarterly and, we kind of have this because we do have a nice steady inflow of, applications as well. So, we're gonna take a look at that because we probably need to spell that out.
So on the AD program, ours or yours, do people come back on the same project, is the bigger project later at like the next calendar year for the same project?
I would say no, but it's not that specific at this point.
So like Josh was saying, like on a bigger project, if it's gonna take longer, I could see somebody starting in one calendar year, it takes longer.
Sure.
And they're like, hey, I'm in a different calendar year, would they be able to go to MADC or us for another round?
Part of that would be up to the historical,
Sure,
because they're going to control a certain amount of it anyway.
sure.
Until it gets to us, we won't have to worry about that.
I think, I don't want to speak for my board and how they would approve or not, but they would probably be eligible for like a different type of fund, you know, whether they got a grant one year and, but we haven't had that.
Well, we appreciate it because we approved these after we ran out of money. You know what I mean? So like, we made an exception for these. And
Or one of.
Yeah.
no, more than one. No, we made an exception,
We had more than one?
for a few of
There's
them.
two,
And,
right?
and I just,
Two, if not three.
Like I said, there isn't much there, so.
Right.
We
And we've talked
should
about
revisit
increasing
that
But
down the
that,
line.
that our facade program is totally separate from Liz's and MADC. So if we have anything more for Liz or MADC,
And I can send updated documents just so you all have, the fact sheet and then we have applications, just in case, you have somebody that wants to apply, I'll send that to Brian so you can send it around.
So they would just contact through the website for like guidelines and it.
Yeah, and my information's on the fact sheet, cell phone number, email, so.
I think what we're looking at, what Josh and I are kind of saying too, is wouldn't it be great in the future, because all of us have the same goal, right? To have everybody prosper and to have everything, you know, a great beautification process with that. So all of us have the same goal. So wouldn't it be good if we could all just work hand in hand and make sure that the funds are getting out there? Because we've never, as far as I know, denied anybody when they've requested from the city. But with that being said, what if we get to that point where we have to, right? And then we have to be able to work hand in hand with you guys.
Yeah.
I think.
I think that's good. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lynn.
Thank you.
thank you, Liz. That was the easy part.
You're the first one.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, you remember. He's got it.
Yeah, you never know.
Department heads, Chief Sunction.
I got nothing significant to add, minus the item for discussion that we two toward the end of the conservation there.
City Minister Melton has a year in review pulled up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. I'm just introducing my report that I started last year. It's just kind of a year in review. So I'm certainly not gonna go through it at this meeting, but in your spare time, and if you review it, if you have any questions or other feedback, please let me know. I already had one alderman remind me of a project that was not really forgotten about, but just not in it. So I've since then updated this as well. So yeah, just at your leisure, if you will, look at it. And if you have any questions or comments, please let me know.
And then do we put this on the website?
Yes,
We do.
I will. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. That's all I have.
All right, moving on to the consent agenda. There's 3 items on the consent agenda tonight. Is there any item that an alderperson wishes to remove from the consent agenda? All right, hearing none. I'll entertain a motion to approve this consent agenda.
So. Second.
Moved in second. It's up for discussion. If anybody has any questions or comments.
I don't know if everyone read my report update about the bills payable, but the one comment I'll make about that is and after talking to Barb King in the office, I felt the easiest way to clear up any misrepresentation or confusion of the bills payable was just to simply put the amount that includes the bills payable, the prepaid checks and the outstanding checks all in the cover letter, so it matches what the end amount is on the claims by vendor. Because essentially there's really 3 different documents in that bills payable: the cover page, and then the actual a summary of the bills, and then the claims by vendor is the itemized list of all those bills payable. So hopefully that takes care of any confusion. But if it doesn't, or if you have questions, please let me know.
Yeah, I still have a question. Why are we putting out bills, approving them, and then when they don't get paid, we approve them again? That's what I understand we're doing. I don't think that's necessary. We should only approve what we've never approved before.
Right, but it's just the way our software sends out the report. If you want us to just remove the outstanding checks or the ones that have been already approved, we can.
That's what I think we need to do. How can I go through this and know what we have approved, what we haven't approved before? I don't have any idea. I don't have the time to go back to every month and see, well, did we approve this? Did we approve that?
That would be any outstanding check, because
I don't think we should approve this again.
it's just part of the report.
We only need to approve what we haven't ever approved before.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just part of the report, the outstanding checks that haven't cleared our system. That's just part of the report.
Poor report. As far as I'm concerned.
Well, you've been looking at it for over 8 years.
I know, but
Alderman.
it never hit me like it did that time because there was $300,000 difference. Yes, before that, there's been a few times that there's a little amount, doesn't amount to anything, but when it got to be over $300,000 difference.
Right, because that was a check that was paid out and just didn't clear yet. That's probably what got your attention, I'm sure.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Items for consideration and possible action.
Well, you should vote on that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. We do have to vote on it.
Yes.
It's been approved and seconded. Roll call for
Just
passing
for
the consent agenda.
clarification with the city clerk online, the motion was made by Alderman Schlegel and seconded by Tickler. And here's a roll call. Cruz,
Yes.
Mahaffey,
Yes.
Slagle.
Yeah.
Terrell. Pickler.
Yes.
West.
Yes.
Letterman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. Items for consideration and possible action. Number 2, the IPBC insurance plan for FY 2026. Pages 31 to 33. I will entertain a motion to get that on the table for discussion. All right.
The move made by Schlegel, second by.
So as I,
Just trying to bring up the right page. Does anybody need a larger? I know when some of these reports are in the packet, they get a little small and hard to read, but if anybody needs a little larger font copy, I have several copies, but basically to introduce this is, as you all know, you approved to become a member of the Intergovernmental Personnel Benefits Cooperative at the last meeting. And Dave Cook was here, presented to you, and he also presented to us a proposal that they recommend, which is the choice plan with the $250 deductible. And essentially, when you look at the cost comparison, in a nutshell, I'll say this in a nutshell. Over the next 3 to 5 years, it makes it pretty obvious to me that the most fiscally responsible path to take is this $250 deductible versus something like we have status quo. When it's all said and done, the expenses for FY 26, when I reviewed all the figures, the enrollment, the projected estimates, the known trend for the increase in insurance from fiscal year to fiscal year under this new $250 deductible, the city's overall cost will be 1%. That's right, 1%. Where if we stay status quo and go with a different plan, kind of backtrack and not go with this plan, we would be looking at a double-digit increase. Our current insurance broker said we can expect anywhere from 10 to 15%, and I would guess it would probably be even more. Can I predict that? No. Can they even give me an actual legitimate quote for us yet for May 1st? No. The cooperative obviously has and can, and they need this choice. As you guys know, as we stated before, they kind of need this choice by the end of January. So they're ready to go, move forward. We're just kind of waiting on the council, and I hope you support and decide this. And as I said, to be open and transparent, as I said in my report, to go along with this, I would like the council to discuss the possibility to change for this last fiscal year 26, which is last year, their collective bargaining agreements. I would like the council to consider a change in the employee share cost at that meeting, because at that meeting, you will also, if you approve a plan tonight, under the IPBC, you will also act on terminating or discontinuing the deductible reimbursement program, because that cost is going to be absorbed in this cost. So I kind of leave it at that. I don't want to muddy the water because it can get pretty complicated. But the bottom line is And I went over these figures over and over again with the worst case scenario under this new plan, which is only 5% a year, it can increase. And what the trends are showing with the insurance market outside this cooperative, the city can save up to about $350,000 over the next 5 years. Because it snowballs. Each year you're saving more, so snowballs, and that's an accurate number. That's not fluff. That's on the projections that you have before you. That the bottom line is this is the way to go. This is a win-win for the city. It's fiscally responsible, and it's a great improvement in benefits for our employees, which we want to keep, we want to retain, and we also want to recruit. So it's just another tool. That, like I said, it's a win-win.
I thought last time we had been pretty much had agreed that this was what we wanted to do, wasn't, weren't we?
Correct.
Correct, but it just had to come back, and I felt it was prudent for me to introduce it without just coming in and rubber stamping it.
I don't feel like there's any change on that.
Is there any further discussion? Any questions? Let's vote on it. Take a roll call.
Alderman Cruz,
Yes.
Mahaffey,
Yes.
Schlegel,
Yes.
Terrell, Tickler,
Yes.
West.
Yes.
Zedek.
Yeah.
Motion carries.
All right.
Thank you.
Items for discussion and information. Draft ordinance 25-2, implementing a non-home rule municipal retailer's occupation tax, also known as the grocery tax, pages 34 to 38.
Again, this is just a discussion item. Should anybody want to further discuss this, I think at the last council meeting, you all seemed ready to go and to vote on it, but in the interest of allowing the public to have time to be exposed to this, have the word out there, I thought it was prudent to let it simmer for a couple meetings before you guys act on it. So maybe another meeting or so, maybe the last meeting in February would be a reasonable time to consider it on the action part of the agenda. So people ask you about it. Just if they have questions, have them give me a call at the city hall, and I'll kind of walk them through it. I continue to do my own research with it, and just a clarification. So on grocery tax means the things that are excluded from the grocery tax are any whole foods that are not prepared, which is like your fruit and vegetables, your produce, and then any medical supplies, pharmaceuticals, over the counter, anything like that. But if it's prepared in any way, you like your Oreo cookies, you have to pay tax on them. But your bananas, you don't. And your aspirin, you do, and of course, your prescriptions, you don't. So that's enough.
So you think you just let it sit till the end of February?
I think so, just to give people time. We have plenty of time. We can't report it to the Department of Revenue until April, and we have till October. So it's no rush, but just trying to get it out of the way.
All right, item number 2, Central Square Public Safety Suite Pro, Records Management and Computer Aided Dispatching, 5-year licensing agreement, or annual payment to Whiteside County Sheriff of $5,134.60.
This is just informational, and I'm sure Chief Singston may want to add to it, but just the story in a nutshell, because it's a long one. The county is going through a change in computer aided dispatch and consolidating their dispatch centers into one. I think it's actually tomorrow, it's actually going live, which is good for Morrison, because that means that dispatch center is here in Morrison. So those employees now are coming to Morrison instead of being split between Morrison and Sterling. But anyway, it's been a several-year project in the making. as part of that computer aided dispatch bigger project is basically the software that we use. Until now, all of us agencies have not shared crime information and just data within our own in our own programs. This will hopefully over the next year or so will replace what we are doing now. And this is countywide. This is really cool stuff. It's using technology to our advantage, and it's essentially we're waiting for an intergovernmental agreement to be drafted, to be approved by you, and to be approved by the county. And that goes between all of the agencies before we basically pay this bill. We have to communicate and be clear on what everybody's responsibilities are, because there are responsibilities within the system and how we use it, because inside of this is our leads, which is the way we run people through the state, their license plates, their driver's license, their criminal histories and so forth. So that's protected information, and all the agencies have to understand their responsibility in protecting that information. That's just one little piece of the agreement. So we just want to make sure it's all in place before we write a check to the county. I will say that the sheriff's office paid for all the initial setup fees for this entire system, which was about $130,000, wasn't it, Chief? Which is a big kudos to them and saved us a lot of money. But this will be our ongoing license for the next 5 years, this $5,000 bill. So
One-time deal, right?
every year for 5 years, yeah. And it'll be extended beyond that. So this will just be another software licensing fee that we'll have to adjust the budget for, which will replace some other costs. So it's not a significant difference. It's just more informational to you.
Yeah, this is been kind of a tricky go since I came in, and I'll take responsibility for. This was implemented maybe a year and a half ago, quote, but nobody really knew until we knew how many licenses we needed for each computer. So the data was there, I just didn't dig far enough back. So every city in the county has this fee. We're actually lower than most of them. But it is the way to go. Like CA said, we are able to access Rock Falls information, Sterling information, Fulton's on a click. And we know history. Before, we're all using different CAD systems, which I don't have a problem with the one we have now. But this is a must for our county. And depending on it this year, that fee might go down a little if we don't need all the licenses. It's just going to depend on how this goes. I might not need all the licenses downstairs on the computer. So I think the cost may go down a little, but it's very comparable to what all the other Fulton's paying, like, well, probably 600 more than we are. So it's very comparable.
Oh, yeah.
I make a motion to adjourn.
You can take that motion to reserve.
Hey, Brian, who's laying the cable coming into town, do you know?
Are we done with the meeting, or?
You can ask a question after we adjourn.
Yes, he can.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get you.
So I made the motion to adjourn.
And
7:12.
second.
All right, thank you. Have a good evening.
All in favor, say
Aye.
aye.
Oh, same time.
Wow.
It's the contractor for Joe Carroll Cooperative laying their fiber optic infrastructure countywide. And they're called Always Underground, and they're actually stationed out of Schubert Voters' old building. Yeah. Joe Carroll Cooperative is out of Elizabeth, where are they? So, yeah, and they're gonna be in town quite a while, because they got the whole county to do. So, yeah, the farmers can have fiber. We'll be able to have fiber. when they're done.
It was there like a year and a half ago. It's very. Feel free to.